Monte Belmonte is a fake name, if you didn't know that. But my real name is Christopher Belmonte. I grew up near Boston in a very Italian-American family with a very strong Italian-American food tradition. And while our next speaker may not have grown up Italian-American, I dare say she is more Italian-American than I am now. Please welcome Kasey Corsello.
I knew moving to Rome, Italy would change my life. What I didn't expect was it wasn't just living near the Colosseum that was life-changing. It was actually a visit to a butcher shop that changed my life. How I arrived at this particular butcher shop, I say, was divine intervention. I had decided to move, to follow my heart, to live with my now husband, Vincent. And 2 months before I moved, I went back for a visit. Because one, it was a practical move. I could bring the allotted 2 bags with me move half of my stuff. And the second thing was, it was a trial run. So if I didn't want to go, I could end up saying, no, I'm not going. But on this particular trip, we had decided to have a dinner party for some Italian friends, Roman Italian friends. And I mentioned to Vincent, he makes a very good carbonara, we should do that for them. No. And I say, how about a saltimbocca? Yeah, you do a good job of that one too, and that's easy. No. And he says, look, cooking Italian food for Italians could be a suicide mission. Okay, so what are we gonna cook? So he takes out this big Costco-sized bottle of hot sauce and puts it down, because I put that in my suitcase too. He says, let's do buffalo chicken. They're never gonna complain about that. They've never had it before. And I said, sure, that's a great idea. So we're on a mission to find some chicken breast. And we go to the Testaccio Market, which is in the neighborhood that we'll be living at. And Testaccio Market is one of the oldest open-air markets of the city. And it was 2 blocks away from what would have been our new apartment. So of the 6 butcher stalls in this market, we go to Sartor Family Butcher. And when I say butcher shop, it's a butcher box, right? Because it's not a physical store. And there are 2 meat cases in front of us. And they're filled with different kinds of meat. And there are about 6 butchers behind the counter there, like really cutting the meat and talking with the customers, and there's just so much Italian swirling around. I'm not quite sure what people are saying, but it looks like people are having a really good time. And so it's our turn, and this woman comes up to ask what we want. And, you know, I'm looking at her, and she reminds me of Sophia Loren. So she's like beautifully made up. She's adorned in gold jewelry, and she's got some gold rings on, and probably my mother's age, but not what I expect a butcher to be. So Vincent orders the chicken. She takes the whole chicken, she cuts the 2 breasts out, and she proceeds to fillet this chicken beautifully. I felt like I was watching Michelangelo chipping away at the David. Her hand was moving with such ease, and I look over at Vincent, and his eyes are bugged out. He's like, I thought he was like a kid in a candy store, because he's showing me all these different meats. There's whole rabbits here, there's the lamb's head right here, and there's some kind of brains here, and I think there's some intestines over here, and there's things hanging, and he's just like really eating this up, not literally, but he's having a great time, and I'm kind of looking at this because this is like the closest thing that I had gotten to my meat. My meat usually comes in cellophane and styrofoam. And, you know, that moment, I think, was like a seed planted. Because what happened is that I did, in fact, move there. I was there for 5 years. And going to that butcher, the Sartor family, was very much a part of our life. We would go there weekly, many times a week, and we even became friends with the Sartor family. And when we decided to move back, our family was growing, and in 2012, we decided to come back to the area to be closer to family. You know, that experience was very deep in our hearts of getting fresh local food, and also the connection that we had to our food. And, so coming back to the Valley, we were really pleasantly surprised by all of the abundance of local farms and local food scene here. So when he told me that he wanted to be a butcher, first I was scared, and then I remembered of the joy that was in his face when we were at getting chicken. And so he told the Sartor family, and they invited him to come and apprentice with them. And when I think about it, and I think about that experience of buffalo chicken, right? Like, really pivotal moment, the decision to make buffalo chicken, because had we not had decided to make buffalo chicken for our very picky Italian friends, Corsello Butcheria may never exist. So inspiration can come at any moment, at any time. It can even come from buffalo chicken. Thank you.